Tonight's guest is an electrician, a cook, a stand-up comedian, a writer, an actor, and he's a very funny guy. Stay right where you are. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rob's Inner Circle, broadcasting live on my personal Facebook page and the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel and on the Rob's Inner Circle Twitch account. Thank you for tuning in to what is going to be an absolutely entertaining show. And at the same time, we want to welcome the audience and the fans from Freddy's cooking show, Get the Food Out of Here. Thank you for tuning in. It's going to be very exciting. I want to give a big shout out to the producer of Rob's Inner Circle, Jenny Duhame. And also to the techie on our podcast, Patty Saragosa. Thank you, girls, for being there, for making the show as great as it is. We want to give an honorable mention at the same time to a good friend of ours and a loyal follower of Rob's Inner Circle, Esther Brzezinski, who has started her own podcast. And you can catch her upcoming podcast this Sunday. So, Esther, go ahead and put all the information in the comment section so that the audience can come on and watch your show as well. Fantastic news, guys, because finally it's here. We now have our merch store. You can get the merchandise from Rob's Inner Circle and Daily Struggles at 514brandingco.com. We got baseball caps, we got t-shirts, mugs, pillows, and an array of wonderful items that you guys can get on the website. Of course, we invite you to subscribe to the Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel. Go on the channel, click on the playlists. You can watch all of the previous Rob's Inner Circle podcasts. And also, there's our Daily Struggles web series. You can go there as well. You want to go there, you want to like, leave comments, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when something new comes up. Guys, it's that time. Once again, it's time to slip into the weekly ritual. You want to relax, you want to let down the steam, take a deep breath and sit back and let us carry the load. Folks, it's showtime. It's time to bring on our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest is an absolutely hilarious man, perhaps one of the funniest men I've ever met. A man who needs fewer and fewer introductions because he's got a huge following, and it's our profound honor and pleasure to have him on our show. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Fred Rubino. Hey, hang on a sec. Let me get that wine glass. Freddie.
Salute, my friend.
Buonasera.
Buonasera.
Hey, I got to tell you, that is one amazing cooking show you got.
Thank you so much. I try and teach people to cook. People don't cook no more. People are buying stuff, frozen foods and defrosting them. They don't understand how easy it is to cook. They don't understand it. And that's why the kids are 800 pounds, too.
Oh, my God, it's true. Hey, nowadays, nobody's cooking anymore. It's true. So, Fred, what do you
got? I got Prosecco.
Okay, hang on a second. We're off. The bottle's in the fridge. Great, eh? Great place. It's called Modeno. It's a nice wine. It's affordable. They sell it here like $10 a bottle, and back home they probably sell it $2 because here we get ripped off with wine. I remember going to Fort Lauderdale on vacation, and we went to a Walgreens, or was it? Yeah, it was a Walgreens. They got liquor down there, right? In the Walgreens,
liquor, guns, fireworks. Greatest place in the world. You want to get drunk and killed? You come to Florida, baby.
I've been there. Actually, I was at in a gun shop in Florida, and my son was with me, and we had these automatic rifles, and we were just like blown away. This is like unreal, man.
Hey, I moved here. I went right to the gun store. I bought a couple of things. Just around the house.
Just in case, huh?
I got a Prosecco because today I made a quiche, with the eggs. So you drink a nice little light white wine with eggs, right?
Hey, you know what? I absolutely love that show. Okay, and if you got a chance, I'm inviting you personally, Fred, to go into Bobby Short Shorts, go into playlist, and click on the Daily Struggles. You're gonna see the interaction you got with your wife. It's the way me and Patty, our techie on the show, we interact with each other.
It's a true interaction. That's what it is.
But it's Italian. It's an Italian thing, right?
Yeah. Tell me, why aren't you being nice to your wife? Or why does your wife talk to you so mean? I go, we are being nice. You should see when we're not nice to each other. I said, that's Italian for being nice.
Okay, so you're a stand-up comedian right now. And obviously you didn't start last week. You started a while back. When did you start going into comedy?
Well, I got the idea around 14 years ago. So it wasn't like, people my age, I meet them, they're like, I've been doing this for 40 years, not me. I did it because my kids were going to high school. I needed the money. So I did it for the money. What do Italians do things for? The money, right?
No, I can't relate to that at all. What are you talking about for the money? I remember I was an altar boy, right? And I came home, I was all proud. My father goes, "Are they paying you for this?" I go, "No, but if you do the funeral service, you'll get paid. So switch to the funeral service."
You always hope a rich person died every week.
Freddie, you're okay. Talk to us from the very beginning. You were born on the east side of Lower Manhattan. Is that it?
Yeah, that was the Italian ghetto in New York. It was a six-story walk up, no elevator. And
oh my God.
They were called tenement houses, and there were 2 apartments on each floor with a bathroom in the hallway. Both families shared the bathroom.
That's unbelievable, eh? And
old. It's not like it's the turn of the century or something. You know what I mean? It's the 60s.
Today that would be unthinkable, right?
Unthinkable. Let me tell you something. You think you know your neighbor now? Imagine sharing a bathroom with your neighbor. When you ate broccoli Rob, that neighbor didn't have it.
I had a hard time sharing a bathroom with my wife. You're talking to me about a neighbor.
Imagine? Could you imagine?
Oh my God, that was shut.
Your kitchen had a bathtub off to the side.
So my God.
Baths in the house, but to actually go to the bathroom, it was in the hallway.
Are those buildings still standing today?
And you know what? I was in New York not too long ago, and I went to the address, and it's still there. But I believe it's my mother always said it was a 6-story walk up. I could have sworn it was 5, but who cares, right? She had 3 kids. She had to go grocery shopping, take the groceries and the 3 kids and the carriage.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God. Those were the days.
Like this. When she cracked you, you know it.
Oh, I don't know if you Americans are the same like us Canadians here, but back in your generation, was your mother going into the bushes to pick the chicory? The chicoria.
Of course, the chicoria came from... we would play Little League Baseball, and it was near a graveyard. So it was a ball field and a graveyard. And I would get up. I remember my first hit. It took me 4 games because Italians aren't that good in baseball. Soccer will kill you, but
What are you talking about? You got DiMaggio.
Yeah, one in every 100 years. That's what I mean.
Lasorda.
Yeah, he's dead.
Well, okay. Well, he's not around, but back in the day, he was a hit. He was great.
So I get my first hit in Little League. I turn to my parents and go, "Did you see it? They got a bag full of chicordia that they just picked." I was like, well, at least we knew what we were having for lunch after the ball game, you know?
Would your parents actually, or your grandparents actually, have you go along with them and pick up this chicoria?
My grandparents, no. My parents, yes.
Oh my God! And if you went, what would happen?
Well, listen, if I went and like sometimes you would pick it, but you would like ruin one.
God forbid.
It's free. I ruined one. My father would give me a backhand that would win Wimbledon.
Hey, Freddie, how much?
How you learned, right? You learned. Your parents, you made one mistake, you remembered it forever. I still remember the day my father sent me for eggs. I go to the store, and he goes, "Don't forget to check every egg." All right. So I opened it up. I checked, but one was damaged on the bottom. So my father comes in. So I go to my father. What's for breakfast? He says, "We're gonna have peppers and eggs." I said, "Great." He goes, "Come here. I want to ask you something." I go, "What?" He takes the egg, and he puts it in his hand, and he goes, "What's wrong with this egg?" I don't know. He turns it over. He goes, "It's cracked. Didn't I tell you to check them?" I go, "Yeah." And he just went smash, and he smashed it right on my head.
Oh my God! I thought my parents were bad.
And you know what he said? "That's your breakfast."
Oh my God!
Did I ever bring another dozen eggs home unless I inspected every one? Never. I just went grocery shopping with my wife yesterday. I checked every egg. She goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Believe me, I know."
You still think your father's around? You're like looking around, panicking. Oh my God, he's probably behind me here.
That's a lesson learned forever.
Oh, I got pretty good beatings myself there. I'm 5 years old. My parents told me, "You're gonna get a beating. You're gonna remember the rest of your life." I'm 57, and I remember as if it was yesterday.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful.
Hey, is that a way to bring up children or what? Huh?
Well, listen, children today don't get beaten enough. In my day, if I was on the street, my friend's father, if he couldn't catch his son, if we were with him and he caught me, he beat me.
Oh my God.
Hey, you look in the neighborhood, if you were doing something bad and one of your father's friends caught you, he was okay. You could beat my son. Go ahead, crack him.
So tell us about the super soda you were eating in your friend's basement. You were drinking the wine. The father was sleeping. He woke up. Then what happened?
He told me, "You got to come down the basement. The super sods are there, the provolone and the wine." But you know, we were kids, so when you first make the wine, it wasn't that strong. It's got to ferment more. So we went down and we tapped some of the wine, and he cut off some super soda. We were eating. His father woke up. He was on the couch. He kicked me in the back. I flew through the air, and I hit like the couch because everybody's got like their basement is an apartment. That's where they live, in the basement. I flew across the room. I went home. I told my father, I go, "Dad, Mr. Capello kicked me in the back." He goes, "What?" I go, he says, "Why?" I said, "Because we were in his basement and we were stealing some of his wine." He goes, "That no good liar. He told me he didn't have wine."
Oh my God.
I'm upset that he kicked me. No, he was upset that he wanted wine. That's what it was about.
Oh my God. Back then it was permitted, right? It was okay if Zio would hit you because everybody's a Zio, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a guy like lives a half hour away, it's your father's friend. He's an uncle all of a sudden, right?
Yeah, I remember my father's cousin, who I hardly knew. I wasn't allowed, you weren't allowed, it's a big city. You're not allowed in the street till a certain age. So I was like 10 and I was playing in the street. And a car came by and he was beeping his horn and I got out of the way. He came out. He grabbed me by the ear and lifted me up in the air.
Your feet weren't touching.
Yeah, I was on the floor. I was like, "Ah!"
Oh my God.
And then he called my father. He goes, "Hey, I caught your kid playing in the street. Don't worry, I straightened him out." My father goes, "Thank you." And then my father gave me a walloop.
Hey, friend, let's go back a little bit here. Let's go back from your childhood. You're a youngster. You're from lower Manhattan. You're growing up. You're going to high school. What's going through your mind? Did you actually want to be an electrician?
Well, what happened was we moved when I was a kid to Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. So then we grew up in Bensonhurst. And yeah, I went to high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. I had no clue. My father worked, and my uncle was an electrician. And I used to spend the summers in Long Island, my uncle's house. And I was like, man, this guy's got it made. He doesn't have to wear a suit and tie. He's bringing stuff home from the job. He was stealing everything that wasn't nailed down. I said, man, I would love to be an electrician, but I didn't really think I would be. But it turned out, like, the test came up, and my friends rang the bell, and they were like, hey, let's go take the electrician's test. Come on. I was like, all right, let's go. And then we went, and that's how it happened. If it wasn't that, I would have been like a carpenter or something. I always wanted to work with my hands.
With so many Italian cops in New York, the idea didn't even cross your mind to be a cop?
A cop?
Yeah.
No. My father wasn't too police friendly, if you know.
Oh, my God.
My uncle was a fireman.
Okay.
So, he was a great guy. He was, we always looked up to him like, wow, to be a fireman, but we didn't go that route. I wanted to do something with my hands and stuff like that, but cop was out of the question.
Okay, well, your father managed quite well to do things with his hands, right?
Oh, yeah. It was like Bruce.
He used you as target practice.
I tell you what, sometimes if he was holding something, he would just kick you. That's why.
Oh, my God.
They kick their kids across the room half the time,
Unreal.
Cups of coffee and still managed to kick me and not spill the coffee. He was very good, a very talented man.
Well, you know what? Hey, listen, my mother could have made the Olympics. She actually got really good at throwing her wooden sandals with me, and she only missed once out of 3 times. She was pretty good at it.
She was like a ninja.
A ninja? Oh, my God, it's unreal. Hey, Fred, we were talking about the cops and the firemen, and that cops, firemen, New York, it's inevitable. It's going to bring up a memory. And you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You told me off camera on the day of 9/11, you actually witnessed one of the planes going into the towers, and that would be the South Tower, the second plane.
Right. The second plane. We were watching the building burn. I was right across the river. So we were just watching. The Trade Center was right there. And when the second plane came in, I actually thought, because it was burning for a while and there were people who were above where the plane hit on the first building that were like on the roof. They went onto the roof to escape the smoke. So everybody was like, how were they going to put this fire out? So when this plane was coming in, I thought, and somebody else thought, that it was one of those planes that scoops up water and like puts it on the fire, like in the forest fires. So we were like, oh, look, here comes a plane. It's probably, I hope it's one of those planes. He's going to spray it with water. And then and I was going, this guy's too low. And then when he hit, my heart just sunk. And everyone knew that second it hit that we were under attack. Before that, we still didn't understand that we were under attack.
I remember myself because everybody has a vivid memory. They can relate to where they were at that particular moment. I had brought my kids to school, and I was coming back, and on the radio, I heard that a Cessna smashed into the building. But like you said, when I saw that gaping hole, I go, that's no Cessna.
That's no Cessna. And a Cessna would not put a huge 4 floors on fire. So that, and, everybody, when they talk about the fire department in New York, they say, well, that was their job, But do you know how many firemen were not working that day and ran into the city and died in the trade center? They weren't even working. They just went, and nobody does that for a living. You know, if it's me, I'm an electrician and say, hey, the lights went out in the Empire State, but I don't get dressed and run to the Empire State. I'm not working that day. Too bad. But these guys have such a love for helping people and are such heroes. Same thing with the cops, that they're just, that day, even though it was the worst day in New York history, it showed that the cops and firemen are really the greatest people in New York. And with this new mayor, he's a complete disgraziata. He has no respect, and they have no respect for him. He's got to go. Giuliani, great mayor, respected law enforcement. He was in law enforcement. He knew that they were the only thing saving the city. And once you turn your back on people who really love the city turns to garbage. And that's what it did. Turned to garbage.
Is this a joke or is this really happening? Because I know where I used to work before. I got laid off because of this COVID stuff. Every day on Fox News, we were tuned in. They were talking about defunding the police. Is that a joke?
You know what? They've done it in a few cities in America. They did it in Portland, Oregon, in Seattle, and Minnesota. And all three of those cities, crime has gone up. Murder has gone up 300%. Not 10%, not 20%. Everybody's running wild. And now, over the last couple of months, the people all getting together and saying, please refund them, hire them again. Because when you defund them, you're telling them we don't have your back. So even the cops that are there are afraid to do their job.
And it's unreal because, I know that when I went to New York maybe a year ago, actually, no, 2 years ago, because COVID came out, I just totally freaked out because every corner there's a cop and everybody passing by, whether it's the local residents or it's a tourist, everybody's giving them a nod, respect. They're bringing them coffee. And, and that freaked me out. And I instantly fell in love with the police department there. So I went and get a baseball cap and a T-shirt of the NYPD. And I was coming back from ground zero. We're going to be talking about that in a second. And I had this stuff on. And there's a precinct not far away from there. I think there's a SWAT unit, right?
I believe so, yeah. There's a fire department and a SWAT unit.
I'm walking by, and wouldn't you know it, a couple of the SWAT guys over there, they spot me. They go, hey, buddy, come over here. So I actually, under their urging, I went, and we took some amazing pictures with the cops. It was a really great moment for me. It was really cool. A guy, in a SWAT uniform, and I'm like looking up at the guy. I go, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, look, Ground Zero is a very, very sad place. I worked at the Freedom Tower. I worked, all over that area afterwards. And I can tell you, it's just sad. And every time there was 9/11 anniversary, I could never go. I just cry. There's so many people lost their kids. There are so many stories of people who escaped death through a freak accident. Their train was late.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Or died because they weren't supposed to be there, but they went in anyway. There's one famous one. There's a restaurant on top called Windows on the World, and it was all the way on top. It was a great restaurant, but they open for dinner. They don't open in the morning. But this one morning, I believe it was election day too, that there was a party. So the guy who owned it, he's the head chef, went and said everybody's got to come in early around 8:00 on September 11th. So they were all in, and then when right before the plane hit, the head chef who owned it, he had glasses at Cohen's Optical that he ordered. He went down the elevator to pick up his glasses. The plane hit. Everyone in that restaurant, whoever worked for him, all died. He's the only survivor because he went down to pick up his glasses at Cohen's.
Wow. It wasn't his time.
But all those people never were in ever at 8 o'clock, only because they were having a function for lunch. So they all were asked to come in early that day. A freak thing. They all died.
Oh my God, it's so sad.
And there's hundreds of stories like that, both ways, you know, that the guy got his glasses, he survived. I knew one guy, the electrician, him and his partner would take turns going for coffee. So he told his friend, he goes, listen, I know I went for coffee yesterday, and it's your turn to go, but could I go again today? I don't have cigarettes. I want to go buy cigarettes. I don't want to send you to buy me cigarettes. The guy went, okay. He went down to get his cigarettes. He survived when he should have been up there.
Oh
and
my
the guy who
God.
stayed up there, he perished.
Wow.
So it's just heartbreak. One heartbreaking story after another. And all those cops who ran in there and the firemen, knowing how dangerous it was, they're just heroes. They should never be dishonored or forgotten.
There's also a story behind the falling man.
Yeah, there was a young black guy who worked in the trade center. I don't know whether it was Cantor Fitzgerald, but he always used to wear an orange T-shirt. That was his lucky T-shirt. When he took his finals in high school, he wore it. When he went on job interviews, he wore it. So during, when people were falling from the building, there was live coverage, and they followed this one person all the way down. It's a famous video, and his shirt blows up, and you could see his orange T-shirt, and his parents, who were watching it because they wanted to see what was going on, their son works there, saw the orange shirt and knew that was their kid falling off the World Trade Center.
Wow, what a sad story.
Just heartbreaking. And that's why, on my Facebook, I got 130 something thousand fans and everything, all kinds of people. Everybody talks about everything. One thing I don't put up with: don't talk about 9/11 like it didn't happen. Don't talk about it like it was some kind of conspiracy. It was a missile. It wasn't a plane. I don't go for that. I was there. Terrorists murdered people in New York. That's the only thing that happened. And it dishonors all those people who died if you just make up these crazy stories about it. I ban the people from my page. You can't watch anything on my page now. I don't put up with 9/11 nonsense.
Yeah. And I was speaking about Ground Zero. I actually visited Ground Zero, and I went, deep down. I'm telling you, it is the most eerie feeling. You could actually feel the souls of those people breathing down your back.
It is. It's intense. It's really intense. And also across the street, there was Robert Hall. They had a big clothing store with suits, and they used that as a makeshift morgue. So a lot of people who died, a lot of people, there weren't a lot of bodies, or a lot of people that were just injured. You were either dead or you survived. But they used that as a morgue, and you would look in there, and there would just be bodies all over that place. And it was now when it's not there anymore, but you look at it and you're like, what a horrible place that was, And there's an eeriness to the whole place that you never get used to. Like I said, I worked on the Freedom Tower, and it was somber.
Oh, geez. Well, this is all sad, Fred, but you know what? I think it's time. Hang on. Before you take a sip, I want to give you a nice cheers, a nice salute over here. Fred, from all of us on Rob's Inner Circle to all of you, your fans, and much success to your show, to everything you do. We love you, Freddie.
Thank you, sir. What did you say that was again? What kind of?
It's a salute.
What kind of sign? What kind of wine is that?
It's Medoro.
Prosecco and Maduro. It sounds like attorneys at law. Well,
Fred,
go to Prosecco and Prosecco. Prosecco and Prosecco.
Hey, Fred, you know what? let's get out of this sad mood. Let's cheer up the audience. I want to show the audience the video that got me hooked on you.
Go ahead.
It's a small clip, but we cleaned it up a little bit, Fred. Yeah, I have to tell you, right?
Hey,
but it's okay. Folks, we want to show you an amazing clip. It's very funny. It's all about camping. I don't want to give it away. So let's enjoy this video. And to all of you,
camping.
It's about camping. Maybe you can comment on the video after we show it. Okay, here we go.
Freddie Rubino here. Listen, all my friends asking me, you want to go camping? Listen, stop asking me to go camping, all right? Because Italians, when we camp, we do everything big, big. Nothing's little, nothing's a here and there. Everything's a big production, all right? When I was 15, we went camping. Not just me and my parents and my girlfriend. It was everybody, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, all right? It was huge. We get up there late, we pitch our tents, we went right to bed. I get up, it was like the Feast of San Gennaro hit the Adirondacks. All right, there was a huge statue my grandfather bought of St. Anthony. All right, my uncle's making zeppelis, my cousin's making sausage and peppers. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. It's like a Roman orgy. A bear wandered into the campground. My grandmother cooked for the bear. All right, 900-pound bear. The thing couldn't finish dinner. It's walking through the woods with a doggy bag. Thing, it's out of control. All right, I couldn't go on the hammock. The hammock was covered in plastic. God forbid it gets dirty, right? I tell my grandmother, Grandma, make something American, all right? We're camping. It's up in the woods. That night we had bald eagle cutlets Parmesan, all right? We're mental. It's a mental thing. Finally, thank God, the state troopers asked us to leave the next day. My father was putting paving stones down to get to the lake, all right? Don't ask us to go camping. We'll go to the pool. We'll go to the beach. That's it, all right? Have a great week. I'll talk to you later.
Freddie, oh my God. Where did you get the inspiration?
That's how Italians camp, right? We don't do it, right?
The Feast of San Gennaro.
My uncle had a cooler. It was just full of sausage for sausage and peppers. Every day we had sausage and peppers for lunch and breakfast. It was amazing. The bread, it was like that. We never rough it. We bring enough food in case it's the end of the world.
Oh my God, Fred. Hey, listen, talk to us about your bald eagle. What is it? Bald eagle cutlet Parmigiana? Oh my God.
Make something American. All right. Cutlet Parmesan. So you made bald eagle Parmesan.
So what are we going to have over here? Some beaver cutlet Parmesan is our national animal over here.
Moose brajol. That's what you'll have.
Oh my God. Oh geez, Fred, tell us about your best experience you had as a stand-up comic.
The best experience I had, I would say, is I was playing at a casino in Queens, and I was doing my set, and I was pretty happy with it, and people were laughing. I was getting a great reaction, and I didn't know that the guy who booked the Borgata Casino in Atlantic City was there. And when I got off stage, he was like, "What a great set. Everything you said, I laughed. I'm going to book you at my place." I thought it was a little place, a little club. I go, "Oh, that's great. Here's my number. What's the name of the place?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know if you heard of it. It's called the Borgata in Atlantic City." I was like, whoa. So I played there for a few years, and it was like a great experience. And it was great to know that I didn't have to go after the gig. The guy was there. He saw me, and I got the gig. And I thought that was one of the most rewarding things,
Well, that's exactly it. I was about to say, how flattering is that? You can't get any more flattering, right?
Oh, it was fantastic. And then, I got to know the guy, and he's a great guy. He's in a lot of Kevin James movies and stuff, the guy. So He's a real great professional, Richie Minervini, and it just turned out that he was there, and and hopefully somebody sees this show, and maybe I'll be the big star in Montreal.
Well, you know what? Hey, I drink to that.
We'll have a nice Moose Brajol show coming up live, and
you got to come to Montreal. We have the Just for Laughs Festival over here. Howie Mandel, you never heard of him, but that's okay. He bought the Just for Laughs Festival. He owns it, and it's the biggest comedy festival in the world. Fred, you got to come down here.
I think I'm gonna try and do that. I've been talking to people who book shows in Montreal, and we are just started talks to try and come out. And I told them, in the winter, don't call me.
Yeah, in the winter, he's. And by the way, in the winter, Freddie is in Florida. Excuse me. Hey, but I'll tell you one thing. I know it's someone who just may be able to get you down here. It's someone I know. It's from the area here. So I'm going to put it out there, and we're going to see. Maybe we're going to touch base.
There you go.
Hey, look at it. Hey, look at it.
A lot of Italians in Montreal. There's a big Italian community.
There is a big Italian community.
Which means no Chicordia by the highways, right? It's all all already.
Exactly. Fred, tell me about your worst. Oh my God. Tell me about your worst experience, your worst show that you've had.
The worst show I had, old age home in Jersey. And there was a band before me, and they played. Everybody loved them. They were very talented. I came on, and I was supposed to do like 40 minutes. Halfway through, maybe 15 minutes, people were yelling at me because I was talking about my grandmother, how she cooks, and my wife. Sometimes she doesn't cook, and it's a disgrace. And the woman started yelling, "You don't deserve. Don't talk about your wife like that. You don't deserve." I was like, "Oh, everybody take it easy." I said, "It's just comedy." I said, "I'm just making fun of it. We're trying to make you laugh. It's about my family." And then they started attacking me. "How dare you make fun of Italians?" I go, "I am Italian." I go, What are you yelling at me for?" Somebody got up and just took the mic out of my hand and gave it back to the band.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you something. That was the most horrible experience. The woman who hired me pulled me over the side and she goes, "Did you ever do this before?" I said, "I do this all over the East Coast of the United States." I go, "This is the worst reaction." She goes, "That was terrible." And I was like, "All right, whatever." I said, "Goodbye." A month later, I get a call, old age home, New Jersey. I was like, all right, I go, because it wasn't the same exact address, but it was right next door. And I say to myself, did they book me again? Did they make a mistake? I don't even want to go in there. They're going to kill me, these people. These old people, they hit you with the oxygen tent, So I was like, I got to go in. So I go in. It wasn't that. It was the place next door. 80-year-old people. I do the same set. Loved me. The woman goes, "Could you do more? They love you. Could you stay for cake?" I stayed for cake. I ate with everybody. We were having coffee. Where are you from? What town? It was amazing. Right next door. The most biggest bunch of miserables
Oh my God. Hey, did you have a piece of San Gennaro?
I always say I'll take a cannoli. And that's my favorites, Just
my God.
Make me a decent cannoli and I'm happy.
Freddie, what was your first joke?
My first joke, when I was a kid, there was a milkman. They used to come to the house. They used to put the bottles in front of your door, and then they used to take the old bottles out. So you knew the milkman. You knew who he was. So one day I go home. I must have been 9 years old. My mother's in the kitchen with her friend, our neighbor, and they're crying. I go, "What happened?" She goes, "The milkman died." I was like, "What?" "Oh, the milkman died. They said that what a nice guy, such a hard worker." And they go, "I wonder where the funeral is." I go, he's probably going to be cremated. So that was my first joke. The guy, he's a milkman. He's going to get cremated. My mother stopped. She gave me a smack. My ear was ringing for about 3 hours. Fucking how dare you joke? Wait till your father gets home. When my father got home, my mother was still crying. She goes, do you know what he did in front of the paper? He made a joke about the guy dying. He goes, what'd he say? She goes, he says he's a milkman. He's probably getting cremated. And my father laughed. He goes, you know, that's not bad.
Oh my God. For you to have become so funny, who are your influences? I see a bit of Andrew Dice Clay in you.
Well, Andrew Dice Clay, he acts like an Italian guy, but he's not Italian, actually. He's Jewish. So he's acting like how I really am. But my early influence was like people like Jackie Mason and Pat Cooper, who did ethnic humor and weren't afraid to do it. You know, they didn't afraid. Jackie Mason wasn't afraid to make fun of his own accent. Pat Cooper wasn't afraid to make fun of Italians the way they act. And I just thought that was the most fantastic thing, that, you know, you could go up there and just make fun of the way people are. And those, that really stuck in me. Those two guys were probably my biggest influences.
And how about Sebastian Maniscalco?
Well, he's recent, so I do believe that is the greatest Italian comedian of all time, Sebastian Maniscalco. I just think the way he acts out, the way he could do anything. He could write a bit that's not even funny, but by the time he acts it out and tells you, it's hilarious. He's a true storyteller. True. I mean, he can make anything sound great about Italians answering the doorbell, about how we have fruit in the backyard. It's just, and a lot of people like him, and they're not Italian. So that's a great thing. You know, you're really good when you cross those lines.
You did a skit on weddings. I think you went to a wedding. Look, I saw just about all your videos, and I remember it vaguely.
It was a non-Italian wedding.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah.
I've only been to Italian weddings. And, and all of a sudden, you go to a non-Italian wedding. I'm like, what's going on here? Italian weddings, it's like you eat until they have to carry you out. You know, you're like unconscious already. You go to the guy, he had deviled eggs, a couple of rolled up pieces of ham. I'm like, this is the cocktail. My mother got more food in her pocketbook right now than this whole cocktail hour has. People were going to our table and just eating what my mother brought from home. She was like, yeah, I got some cutlets here. I got some. Hey, come on, everybody eat. I was like, what's going on here?
Freddie, to close off the show, what advice would you give to comedians who are starting off?
There's two things that make a good comedian. Number one, you have to write. You write every day. That's what I do on Facebook. I put out these skits. I write stuff. Not all of them I bring onto the stage, but it helps me write. And every once in a while, something that I do, like a skit, like the Italian wedding I do now on stage. You know, you just, it's an exercise in writing. You cannot be a comedian unless you are writing all the time. I know comedians that are doing it for 40 years. They're doing the same set for 40 years. Anybody who's ever seen them could recite their set from 30 years ago. No good. No. People come to my show and they go, I saw you a year and a half ago and half your stuff is new already. I don't even realize it because I had one thing this week, one thing next month. Next thing you know, 30 minutes is new. So you gotta write. And it's gotta be funny. The worst advice is it's gotta be true. It doesn't have to be true. My grandmother didn't make bald eagle Parmesan cutlet.
I figured.
Just make it funny. Just Make it funny, write every day, and make it. It doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have. My grandmother didn't have enough focaccia in her pocketbook to feed the cocktail hour. Only had enough for 20 people. You know, it was. So you exaggerate a little. That's all.
And it's like for the mousetrap, your grandmother didn't stay up all night making the fresh ricotta, and she puts some basil and some of that oil on it.
Yeah. I look at the mousetrap. She put a little oregano. It's like she cooked for the mouse for 8 months. The mouse died of a heart.
He didn't die of the trap.
It was crazy. I was like, Mom, we gotta kill the mouse. Just like with cats. I had cats in the backyard. You know, at first, if there's cats and they're messing with the basilic or the tomatoes, you want to kill them, right?
Yes.
My mother goes out. We're gonna kill the cat. She sees there's 4 kittens. That was it.
Oh my God.
She made little sweaters for the kittens out of my old. I'm looking. I see a cat go by with one of my Ozzy Osbourne shirts. I'm like. She was grounding up cat food, the ones that are dry, the dry cat food, and she would make a dough. She would make little cat zeppelis. I was like, Mom, we're trying to get rid of them. She goes, oh, not for the kids. We got to feed them. We got to make a. I'm like, oh, so you know, that if you bring it out, they'll kill anything that messes with your garden. But if they fall in love with it, that's it. They're gonna feed it to death.
Hey, I can see your grandmother making a tuxedo for a mouse.
Oh yeah,
it's so typically Italian.
One day, and somebody tells me, "Do you hear what happened?" I go, "No." Some crackhead broke into your house. The cops were there. I go, "What?" I run home. I'm there. I go, "What happened?" I got the crackhead still in my house. My mother's cooking for the guy. She goes, "Look how skinny he is."
Poor guy. He can't go away on a nutty stomach.
my grandfather grabbed him by the back of the hair and upstairs. He sat there. My mother starts cooking for him. Look how skinny you are. My uncle calls. I'll get him a job. Could you use a sledgehammer? Before he left, he was eating. He had a job. He had my jacket, my members only.
So this guy, he didn't have to go to jail. He got straightened out that day.
He got straightened out. He left 10 pounds. He didn't even met the description that the cops. He was 10 pounds. Dressed nice because he had all my old clothes on.
Oh my God, that's insane.
But you know what? That's the way Italians are. We love people.
And listen, I know I'm gonna mess this up. I'm gonna try anyway. Okay. Why is it that so many New Yorkers have the name Tony?
Because at Ellis Island, they put a little sticker on you. To New York.
Okay.
The ones that went to Massachusetts are called Toma. No, I don't know.
Freddie, you just blew my punchline. It's okay. It doesn't matter. We should have rehearsed it. It's on the fly. Hey, Freddie, can you stick around like maybe a couple of minutes behind the studio?
Behind? Well, I'll meet you back. All right, I'll meet you behind the studio.
Yeah, okay, because I'm going to be signing off.
Wow.
Because I know you have a bit of a time constraint tonight. You're a little bit in a hurry, but stick around. We want to have a little bit of a wine party. Don't go anywhere, okay?
It sounds like I'm getting whacked. Meet me behind the studio.
Freddie, don't go anywhere. Stay right where you are. I'll be right back.
How's your inner circle?
Excellent. It just grew having you in my inner circle tonight. Hey, a last toast to you on air.
Hello.
I'll meet you in a couple of seconds.
I'll meet you in the girls' bathroom.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Freddie Rubino, our guest tonight, an absolutely delightful character. What a lot of fun we had tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. To all of the audience that followed through, that switched over to our show from Freddie's show, thank you very much. We invite you to go onto our Bobby Short Shorts YouTube channel and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Next week, we're going to have another New Yorker, Mr. Sal Rinella, film director, musician, comedian. He's an absolutely funny guy. We're going to have a great time. So 2 weeks in a row, it's all about New York. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great week, and we'll be seeing each other again next week. Ciao.